And now let's have some conversation with both of you, Mårten and Magnus. Maybe I would like to share some questions with you, and I would like to invite you to reflect on them. When you, Mårten, you were presenting that you receive many cases when children or parents approach your agency and talk about degrading or offensive treatment in the school, that is not being stopped. It continues and so on. And you, Magnus, you were speaking a lot about how it's important to prevent, and there is knowledge, there is UNESCO guidelines about how to work with the prevention of bullying and other forms of violence in schools. So the questions that I would like to ask you are the following. One question is, do we as society, as adults, do we take seriously the issue of bullying, degrading, or offensive treatment? What is your opinion about that? Maybe I'll formulate all three questions. So the second question would be, do we know what we need to do in order to stop bullying or to prevent bullying or degrading treatment happening in the future? And the third question I would like to ask, why still we have so much of this violence taking place? And as you, Magnus, pointed out, you see some increase in the last surveys. You see the prevalence is going up. When we see the data from HBSE study, health behavior in school-age children, the data from Lithuania, we also see, let's say, the highest or one of the highest prevalence rates in Lithuania among those many countries that take place in the survey. Could you comment on these three questions? So maybe, Mårten, could you first start?
Three questions. I think, as I said in the presentation, that we take it serious was the question. We can keep the question serious by talking about it all the time. As I said in school, the teachers in school has to be regularly talk with the students. The principal has to regularly talk by the teachers to have it by life, so to say. If we not do that, then we're not taking it serious. I would answer the question like that, I think. Have you anything more that, Magnus, maybe?
Yeah, I think it's, I mean, my answer is no, we're not taking it serious enough. I think it would be, because then it would change more, I think, if we would take it serious enough. As long as there is bullying, we don't take it serious enough. But I think one key to understanding that is also from the data from Mårten's authority, where they ask the children, you have such a huge data of that, you ask children like, are the grown-ups or the personnel or teachers in the school acting or reacting when they see a situation of degrading treatment? And that has also been, I mean, children used to say, to say, yes, we agree on that in a higher level than they are doing the recent years. So I think that that's also a slight change. It's not huge, but it's a change if you look back on the last 10 years. And I think also the other national school authority in Sweden, they ask students, are you involved, or does your school do active work to counteract bullying, to prevent bullying and degrading treatment or offensive treatment? And then teachers continue to say, yes, we are working actively. But students are saying like, no, not as much as before if you compare over the years. So there is something that, I mean, there's something happening in schools, and because I don't think that teachers are not aware of this problem, but I think maybe they don't have the right time or resources. They focus on other things, and they cannot deal with everything. So I think that is something that is going on.
Yeah, and I was just supposed to say that, Magnus, it's if you go to the statistics, that's your answer is loud and clear. We don't take it serious because we see the statistics. But in the same time, I know that many teachers working really, really hard to prevent those situations, and lots of principals. And we have a few schools that's not doing it really well.
Yeah.
So we have to find just them. And then the other schools who don't do it really right. The most schools in Sweden has really good work. You should not forget that, I think.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
But
definitely
they have to go on, and that's what I mean. What they have to continue talking to could keep it alive.
Yeah. Maybe
And
my
then,
answer is a little bit negative.
I
agree.
But I like it. I like it, Magnus, because we have zero tolerance against bullying, and that's why. And we have the statistics to show we have bullying.
Yeah.
So the question is really good. Do we take it as serious? But
I would agree that
we can't forget the good work who's doing out in the schools. We don't have to forget that. I think.
No, I agree. We have to appreciate that and acknowledge that, and also learn from that. I think there's so many fantastic teachers and preschool teachers that can do this in their daily work and deal with this in their daily work in a fantastic way. And maybe we should. If you really want to get rid of bullying in Sweden, I think we should also focus maybe on the 25% of the schools that has the most problems and see how could we help them.
And that's the way, exactly. And that's what the Swedish Schools Inspectorate and the BO works. We divide our resources to those schools who are the worst by this. And there we should go on. So now in London, most of the schools works fine. So the second question was, do we know what to do, I think, wasn't it?
Yes.
Enough with knowledge. Do we know?
Have enough knowledge? Yeah. I don't know what you think, Magnus, but some days I think we know. We have a lot of knowledge. We have lots of knowledge. You have presented a lot. I've presented a little too. But how to do it? To get how? That's the big question. How can we get the teachers the tools to use this knowledge? The knowledge is there, I think. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree too. I think there is a lot of tools and knowledge when it comes to bullying prevention. I think maybe also a critique could be to the National School Authority that should give guidelines for doing this, because there has not been any new guidelines on how to work on bullying prevention in Sweden for the last 3 years. And I think we need new guidelines and we need new tools for the schools to use. And I think also a challenge in Sweden, if you compare, we will hear some Norwegian example later, but the challenge in Sweden is that each school is under the organization of a headmaster and also of the head of the school, and they are responsible in a very for the bullying and for the prevention. But there is hard to control and give all schools the same tools or something like that in Sweden, because everybody decides for themselves. So I think that is the challenge if you see how everything is organized. And I think in a way that is a democratic way of organizing society. So I'm not against that, but I think it's a challenge sometimes also to get all tools to all schools and to get knowledge to all schools, because schools they have the responsibility themselves and that they decide themselves on how to do this kind of work, even if they have to fulfill the standards of the school law. And the guidelines and the tools that are provided from national authority are a bit vague. So everybody has to find their own way of doing this, and I think that is the challenge. So I would like to see increased use of research-based tools, and I think there is a lot used internationally, and some of them are in Sweden, but not everything. So I think we could improve on that too. And I think it goes down to have research-based tools in classrooms, in the curricula, in the activities that the schools do. We have a good quality, how to work with quality and how to improve the situation, but the schools are a little bit left by themselves, and the heads of the schools are also left by themselves to find the solutions, I would say.
Thank you very much. And now there's still one more question. If we have enough knowledge, or let's say more or less we know what to do, how to intervene, how to stop, how to act when degrading treatment happens, and we know how to stop it, prevent it from happening in the future. My question is, what we are not doing, or what we are doing not enough, if the prevalence is going up, if the number of cases is huge, and so on. So this is what I'm asking you, but I'm also asking this question myself, and when I think about Lithuania.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, I could start. I think there is problems in society that affects the education system and the schools. For example, we know that we have a lot of problems with violence in Sweden in general now. We have a lot of shootings, we have a lot of drugs in Sweden that has been increased the latest years. We know that is a risk factor for bullying and violence in school. So that doesn't come from school, but it comes from somewhere else outside school. It affects education. I think also there could, like online abuse and bullying online. We know also that there has been increased polarization also with the use of social media among adults, among children. That is also a factor that drives this kind of problems, and that is outside school, but it gets inside school. So even though we ask, are you bullied in school? All the risk factors and the protective factors aren't inside the school, they are outside also, and that affects the education system. So I think we as society, we are in big challenges, like the pandemic, for example, that has increased online bullying because everybody is more digital oriented, and also psychological mental problems because everybody is isolated and can't go to their normal settings in a way, or meet friends, for example. So I think there's a lot of challenges that also affects our issues, so to say, mental health and bullying in this conference within the education system. And I also think there's a little bit, we don't really know why. We don't have answer. There's not much research on why is this increasing. We don't know that. So that's also an answer. But there's many problems that could potentially affect why bullying and mental health is on the rise.
I can see, as I told you in my presentation, there is our experience is that children with neurological disabilities are overrepresented in matters by us, and that's pointing out that we are too bad to give children with autism or ADHD education on an adequate way, and that's, I think it's a big key to get those communications problem with this. Actually, people meet and we have different views on what's going to happen, and then it gets a conflict. Yeah. And we have to have the teachers have to have more keys to get people to communicate in the classroom, so we don't get violence or physical impact, or what will ever happen.
Yeah,
I think that's a key. That the children with special needs, if we.
I definitely agree on that, and on a more systemic level, when it comes to children with special needs, there's also part of the school law that all head of schools does not have to provide a place for children with special needs in their school. So we have a school segregation in Sweden when it comes to the public schools, who has to do that, and private schools that are not obliged to give extra resources to children with special needs. So for example, if my daughter goes to a school that is private and has special needs, they would say that we can't help your child with this problem. You have to choose another school, and that makes on a society level school segregation, where the public schools have even more children with special needs, and private schools get lesser children with special needs, and then they have the same amount of resources. So then children with special needs will get lesser support in a way, and I think that might also be part of the explanation why that is a bigger challenge, because we are not sharing resources in society so that all schools are obliged to help children with special needs according to the Education Act, and that has been critiqued by a lot of NGOs in Sweden. Like, why is it like this? But we're still in that situation. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your comments and responses. I have more input coming from our viewers, and there is one comment, just I will read it, when a person writes, "When I went to school, I saw bullying everywhere, but the teachers just didn't seem to care, although they saw it with their own eyes." So from this comment we see that people remember that bullying took place. They remember that teachers were aware about bullying that was happening, but there was no response, no intervention to stop this. And then we have two questions. One question is, how do you make teachers aware about bullying? And so in other words, how teachers are being trained to work with the bullying and degrading treatment. What is this knowledge where they get it? Could you comment on that?
I just want to go back to my presentation where I said something about that. Actually, my standard answer to that is that the people who knows best what to do in a classroom or with a child in a classroom, that's the professional persons who works closest to the child. They have the answers, and therefore it's very important, as I say in the presentation, that the principals talk bullying with the teachers on a regular basis. You do analysis on the school, where is the problem? And they can see the problem, and then they discuss it with the staff. Then we can prevent those this description of that the teacher saw the bullying, but it didn't do it. That's a quite usual description from children in Swedish school too. They don't think the personal act, even if they say a bullying take place. Do you want to?
Yeah, I think it's really. I think it's really. I thank you for also the one who shared that memory,
yeah.
because I think really we can. A lot of us can have those kind of memories, being observer or being exposed or doing the bullying yourself. I mean, there's a lot of memories from this, and it says something about what we learn in school. It's not part of the curricula, but I think children still, and in many countries, learn that bullying is something that is normalized. It's not a problem because the grown-ups aren't reacting to it, and that is a learning that is very destructive. So every time a teacher or a personnel in school actually do something, stops it, says it, acknowledge who is treated bad, who has done it, and other children will see that. They will understand that this is a safe place. So it's not just for the one who's getting bullied, it's also for everybody who is observing this. And that's why it's so important with our school teachers reacting. And I think also, like Mårten previously said, there is a lot of teachers today that also do react and react immediately. And they are, and I think when I'm in school and observe these kind of things, I think they are fantastic people. So we also have the positive side. But when it comes to like where do sorry, Mårten.
No, but I said exactly those fantastic. What did you do? And I think those fantastic teachers and staff on the school, they question standards. They so to say, if a child says some dirty word or something, they are there to question that. Is that okay to say that? A staff who don't do its work is back off. He's not reacting for that signal. And that's what successful teachers do. They question standards. I don't need exactly the pronunciation to English. Normer on svenska.
The question norms, yeah.
question.
And I think
Yeah.
also when you defend a victim, when someone defends a victim and you get defended when you are in a vulnerable situation, you will always remember that someone stood up for me. So I think it's very important also to teach students to stand up for each other. It's an important factor to do. But I think when you also ask like where the teacher learn this, and I can just tell you that I did those. I teach the courses for teachers at the universities, and I think it's a very limited of time that teachers get during their whole education to learn about bullying prevention. At the university I used to work, we had it was a 4-week course for everything that has to do with social relations in school. Everything, 4 to 5 weeks. And bullying prevention was maybe 3 to 4 days. So, I mean, and then you had two lectures, basically. So it's not much that you get during your professional education as a teacher. And that's because teachers training in Sweden, they are specialists in their areas. Like I studied Swedish, math, something else. And then I have this little core that everybody has to do. And in that little core of the education, there is a week of bullying prevention. So it's not much.
Thank you very much. And one more question came from our viewers. And Mårten, this question is to you, to your agency. How does BEO decide what cases to be reviewed legally? Are there specific criteria that must be met? Probably understand that you are investigating not all cases, or maybe you could comment when you start a legal process or legal investigation.
Was a very, very, very good question, I think. It's always this juridical circumstance. It's always circumstances in the individual case that affect whether we start an investigation or not. So it's rather hard to say this do we every time. But mostly we start cases when we see we have several serious events has occurred over time. If it's come in tasks that have cases, 2 cases the last months, we don't do anything about it. That's the thing for the teachers in the classroom. But if we see that it has been cases for a half a year, and it has been 12 or 13 different situation describes, then we start a case around it. Mm-hmm. And then we have the school law in Sweden that says it's the absolute ban of staff violations. It is that if we get information about the staff violation, we usually investigate all that.
Thank you very much. The time is running very quickly, and it seems that we only started the discussion and we have to end up. But the good news that there is World Anti-Bullying Forum, and there is a possibility to go there or to join on the internet. So let's hope that people and scientists and researchers and practitioners will meet there.
Mårten will be there, Anna Ekström will be there, everybody will be there, so please join us.
Yeah. Thank you very
much.
Yes, so thank you very much to both speakers from Sweden, to Mårten Petersson and Magnus Loftsson.